In rural Taiwan, some Taiwanese families have taken an extreme level on dealing with the death of a loved one by having showgirls stripping for the dead to appease the wandering spirit. Groups of young women who dance, sing, and sometimes undress on the mobile stages. Although it is not a common practice throughout the country, and in fact, some find it very scandalous and disrespectful. It is merely a way to send the deceased off with a smile. In Ghana, a popular funeral service, Nana Otobria, featuring a half-dozen men often dressed in black and white suits and sunglasses. Known as dancing pallbearers, they get down to festive beats all while carrying a coffin on their shoulders. Some families are increasingly paying for the services to send their loved ones off in style. The dancing pallbearers first became famous in 2017 when their so-called coffin dance featured in a BBC documentary. Then someone added an EDM track, and a meme was born, footage of the dancing coffin circulating on the internet. In 2021, their performance had transformed into a way to warn people of the dangers of ignoring social distancing. It went viral on the internet, and their image has even appeared on the billboard in Brazil, an announcement, "Stay home or dance with us." In China, wailing is a way to honor the dead at wakes. According to folk customs, if their loved one's journey to the afterlife is not accompanied by sufficient cries of mourning, it indicates the deceased was not loved and disgraces the family. In order to avoid the embarrassment of a tearless funeral, Chinese families are hiring out war characters to cry at funerals. The professional mourners will wail loudly and encourage the others not to be embarrassed to join in. In the Philippines, gambling is a way to honor the dead. Betting mahjong and card games like sakla, the Philippine version of Spanish tarot cards, is particularly common at wakes. The unusual practice is to keep 24-hour vigil over the deceased until the burial. Some Filipinos believe that they need to stay awake to keep the evil spirits or aswang from stealing the dead body. According to Filipino folklore, the aswang combines the uncertainty of a shapeshifter with the worst traits of vampires and werewolves lurking around the corner, waiting for an opportunity to take their prey. To prevent themselves from falling asleep, they play bet games. Gambling isn't just a pastime because the family of the deceased gets a share of the winnings to help cover the funeral expenses. Emotional pain is part of the grieving process for most of us, but for the women of the Dani tribe in Indonesia, involves physical pain. When their loved ones die, female members of the remote Indonesian tribe have the upper half of their fingers amputated in a ritual to ward off spirits. It is believed that the finger cutting keeps the deceased person's restless spirit away. As well as symbolizing the pain of bereavement, some babies even have their fingers bitten off by their mothers. Their unusual practice of finger amputations, called equivalent, was banned by the Indonesian government a few years ago. However, many older female members of the tribe can be identified by their hands, and it's believed this practice still continues in secret. The Dani tribe, located in the deep highlands of Western New Guinea, Indonesia, and is one of the world's most isolated tribes. Another case located in Indonesia, on the island of Sulawesi, the Torajan people believe that death is not the end, but part of a journey that is shared with family members. Despite the fact that they are Christians, they still following the old traditions tracing back to animistic beliefs. When their loved ones die, Torajan people mourn the passing by treating the body as a living entity. They believe that by keeping the deceased in their homes, they are not really dead, but are instead considered sick and should be cared for. The body is clean, clothed, and fed over the course of weeks, months, or even years.
Because we still understanding, we believe it. The soul here that always need the food, so that we soul to preparing about it.
The Torajan funeral is an extremely expensive event, and families can spend tens of thousands keeping the body at home until they decide to conduct a funeral rite. While this practice may seem strange or disturbing to many cultures, the Torajan have no fear of the dead. Their love for the deceased persons outweighs any concerns or feelings of discomfort about seeing the death and decomposition. Meals, activities, prayers, and all other aspects of daily home life are spent with the deceased person's body. Once a funeral date has been decided, the family will purchase a water buffalo to use as a sacrifice. They believe that these buffaloes are the vehicle in which the dead rides to the afterlife. And not just that, the funeral is not the end of the relationship. Every 3 years, the ritual of Banene is performed and is known as a second funeral. It is common practice to raise the dead in remembrance. The family of the deceased takes the corpse out of its resting place to clean it, change the clothing, clean the grave, and interact with the corpse, giving them food, drink, and sometimes non-essential items such as sweets and cigarettes. Additionally, young children who may not remember the corpse are reintroduced. The Torajan believe that death is merely another step in person's spiritual life, and the tradition of death are taken very seriously, usually sparing no expense. The body can be exhumed for up to 100 years or more. The most bizarre case on this list is located in South America. Spanning between Brazil and Venezuela, there is the Yanomami tribe, an indigenous group living in Amazon rainforest. has a gruesome ritual of dealing with the death of their loved ones. The Yanomami people believe that death is a natural process that occurs when a rival tribe sends an evil spirit into their tribe. In order to protect the spirit of the dead, they perform an unusual ritual to help them pass peacefully into the spirit world. The deceased is usually covered with leaves, leaving the body undisturbed for up to 4 to 5 days. After that, they collect and cremate the skeletal remains during an emotional ceremony that typically involves mourning and singing to honor the deceased. After the cremation, the Yanomami people incorporate the deceased ashes into a soup made with fermented bananas that is consumed by the entire tribe as a way to keep the deceased person's spirit alive within the tribe.